guys, it's Izzy here, and today we're going to be looking at my November TBR. These are all of the books that I would like to read in the month of November. Let's get into it. Since I hit my reading goal of 107 books this year, after I hit that goal, I usually don't do a set TBR for myself, and I'm not doing that, but there are videos that need to be made. So these are really books that I would just like to get to before the end of the year. So I could read them in November, I could read them in December, and if I don't read them in that time period, hopefully I'll read them one day. So we have these three right here. Continuing series, and then one is a book that I made my friend read, and then I was like, I'll get to it eventually, and I need to do that. So the first one is The She-Wolf by Maurice Druin. This is book 5 in the Accursed King series. This is a series all about the 100 Years' War. We have perspectives of nobility, like the high of the high, the kings and the queens. We have bankers, we have people who might be related to the royal family but are lesser known nobles, and all of that just going into a lot of books are really political intrigue. But the reason this is a French series, it's a classic series, I would say more of a modern classic, but this is the series that really inspired Game of Thrones, as you can see by the quote up there, which if you're not able to see at the moment, it is George R.R. Martin said it's the original Game of Thrones. And the She-Wolf is Isabella of England, who is married to Edward II, and she's one of my favorite characters in the series, and we haven't heard from her in a while, so I'm really excited for this one, but it is a really big book. And the next one is even bigger. So I love the Beartown series. I've been reading it this whole decade so far, but I reread the first book, and then I read the second book, and it was a 5 out of 5. And now I have the last book in this series, and that is The Winners by Frederick Bachman. It is huge. I think this is his biggest book yet, and I will most likely be doing the audiobook following along, which I did do the audiobook for the first book in the series, so I do recommend the audiobooks for this series, but also you will be fine doing it on your own as well. But let me tell you what the Beartown trilogy is about. So in the first book, it's a hockey town in Sweden. Hockey is king and basically runs the town, and the team is one of the best teams, if not the best team in Sweden, and this is like junior level, so if you don't know, juniors in hockey is like 17-year-olds. The star player sexually assaults a girl in the town, and that really divides the town because he's their star, he's their hero, and he did this terrible act, or did he? Because some of them don't really think he did, and it just goes all into the different ways, the politics, the business, the friendships, and everything. And the character work is what I love so much about that series. Now we had the book that I told my friend I would read, and now I really have to, because the TV show for this book got cancelled. Which, with Beartown, there's a series called Björnstad, that is how you say it in Swedish, on HBO Nordic, and I watched the first season, and I don't think it's going to get any more seasons for these other books, but I think the other books are better, or at least the second book was better than the first book, so that's kind of sad. But I really don't know, because everything, I have to watch it in Swedish, so I don't know Swedish. I watched with the captions, and I haven't heard anything, but I don't follow any like Swedish thing other than Swedish hockey players and like Swedish YouTubers, but so I don't know what's all happening with that. But this one is another sports one, but this is nonfiction, so perfect for nonfiction November, and that is Showtime, Magic, Kareem Riley, and the Los Angeles Lakers Dynasty of the 1980s. So as you can see, it is also an HBO original series, Winning Time, The Rise of the Laker Dynasty, but that show sadly did get canceled because of the strike. Really frustrating. But I read another book by this author about the Mets, and it was like a very well written sports book, but it's the only sports book, like nonfiction sports book I've ever read, so I can't really tell y'all that it's the best one out there. No, it was only a 3-star, but still. This one is definitely more up my alley. I'm more familiar with these people, but I've seen the show, and I want to add more to that because, as I said, the show got canceled with still half the decade to go in the 80s, and obviously I think the Lakers were the most dominant team back then, and there was a lot of drama, as the NBA still is a league with a ton of drama. I don't want to say the most because it's only the NBA or the NFL. There's a lot of drama. And I love drama. I love sports drama. I love the 80s. So it should be fun. Now, lastly here, I have 2 books that are 5-star predictions. And I did a whole video on my 5-star predictions. So I will leave that link down below in the description if you guys would like to check that out. But the first one is Crossroads by Jonathan Franzen. Books with Brittany. She loved this book, but I had it before she even mentioned it. But that only makes me even more excited. So this all takes place in one day in 1971. And it's all about these different siblings who were raised in like a... their father was a pastor, but more of a liberal pastor. And so just think of 1971, think of everything that is happening. Think of that teen culture of what these kids are growing up with, and then times that with their religious beliefs thrown in, because a lot of that was being questioned at that time. So I think that should be a lot of interesting themes to cover. And then the next one that's also a 5-star prediction is, I love this cover so much. It's such a beautiful cover, and then even the little flaps are really pretty right there. And this is Still Life by Sarah Winman. This is another historical, but this is more World War II era history. So it takes place first in Tuscany in 1944, which I have not gone to Tuscany, but it's probably my top 5 places that I would like to visit the most. So it's with, we have themes of art, and it goes over 4 decades following this character's life, who was an English soldier during that time. And that screams something that I would love. I love Italian art, especially from Tuscany. Like Botticelli he painted my favorite painting of all time. But I love art, and I love history. I love the setting that we're seeing, and I love following a span of a character's life. I just find it so fascinating. And those are all of the books that I would like to get to before the end of the year, that I would really like to get to in November. I don't know how possible that is, but I would like to get to these books as soon as possible. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, comment, rate, and subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell to be notified when all my videos go live. And if you make it through the whole video, leave a turkey emoji in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!